Welcome to this installment of Foglight Advanced for Databases, a brief primer. I am Kris Hutchinson, a senior systems consultant at Quest Software. This installment is a follow-up to Foglight Advanced for Databases, the big picture. Let's begin by talking about Foglight Performance Monitoring Architecture. As previously mentioned, the Foglight Advanced package is made up by Foglight Monitoring for Databases and Foglight Performance Analysis for Databases. Foglight Monitoring for Oracle is a touchless or agentless monitoring technology. This is key because we do not have to install an agent or objects out on the monitored host where we're collecting the 24/7 historical resource monitoring metrics. The only thing that we'll need on the instance is a valid database user with specific privileges. Foglight Monitoring is the component that you will typically configure to look at all of your critical and non-critical instances. The deployment and management of this component is so easy. You can have, say, your 50 instance environment up and running as soon as you can discover them with Foglight. There is a Foglight Agent Manager that makes and handles a remote connection into the database and running the appropriate queries for the appropriate database platform that it's monitoring. It then pulls those metrics back and stores them on the Foglight management server. That agent manager can reside anywhere. It can reside on the Foglight management server or any file server that has CPU and memory to spare. This agent manager acts as a proxy to the Foglight management server, capturing the information and sending the information it collects directly to the Foglight management server. And this allows for a larger scaling of individual management servers to cover larger database environments. This type of deployment is centralized, thus making upgrades a snap. There are no agents to configure on the monitored host, which means there's no impact to the monitored host when doing upgrades, and that's a huge release. Once configured, Foglight will show you information about your host visually from a high level about all database instances, no matter the platform, shown on the same page or custom tailored to your liking. It will send out pages, email notifications, integrate with third-party applications, and even take actions based on conditions it sees, so therefore it becomes kind of a self-healing mechanism. From the database global view, or from an alert that received in your email box, you will be directed down the proper path of resolution. You're going to be guided through easy to read pictures showing you instance health and data flows to find that point of contention, fix the issue as quickly as possible, run that report, and move on. The key here is to make sense out of the mountain of data that's available to you by the various database platforms in the shortest amount of time possible, get to the root cause, take care of your business, and move on to the next item in your queue. Secondarily, over here, performance analysis. As a DBA, we typically run into situations where we're asked to do forensic research into application performance slowdowns. These issues could have happened 10 minutes ago or 10 days ago. It's our job to prove or disprove that the database was the issue and provide meaningful results either way. Doing this can be a very stressful proposition, and it only increases as each minute passes where the incident is unresolved. Our performance analysis for database solution provides you with just the capabilities to do this job, very stress-free, with near zero overhead to the monitored host. Performance analysis is designed to look at the SQL workload performance 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, to see who is in the database, what statements they were running, when they were running it, how it affected performance and response times. So if somebody calls and asks what happens 20 minutes ago, or what happened 2 hours ago, or what happened in the middle of the night, or what's the difference between this problem that I saw 12 hours ago and maybe the month before, I want to be able to know who was causing that issue, what statements they were running, what client machine it was originating from. Was it an insert, update, or delete? What type of weights are being generated? And then understand historically how that activity or user has caused me problems in the past. Is this a one-off situation, or is this something that is happening over and over and over, therefore giving me higher priority to begin tuning my efforts? I want to know this up front. This ultimately combines much hyped weight event analysis with the physical host resource metrics and user interactions to understand why response times are either increasing or decreasing for any time period. Down to the SQL statement, the stored procedure, the T-SQL batch, the database user, the OS user, and many other dimensions. The beauty of this tool is the way that it collects its information. Performance analysis scrapes the memory segments of Oracle, SQL Server, and DB2 up to 300 times per second, giving you the equivalent of an Oracle Global Trace, SQL Server Profiler Trace, or DB2 Trace 24/7 with near 0% overhead. This is done with the installation of a lightweight collector daemon that runs at the OS level. The key is that because we do this memory scraping at the OS level, we don't have to query any objects in the database substructure. Competing products actually query session tables and various other tables of the database host to get the historical data. This allows us to not be leveraged by the Oracle SQL Server or DB2 database engines. When those engines slow down, when they're being overtaxed, going in to pull data out of them becomes problematic in a lot of cases, like our competitors or platform-based products that are storing their historical data on the local database itself before sending to a centralized server. You can't get to it at all. If the database crashes, that forensic data is gone. With performance analysis, Quest software is going to be able to give you the ability to show you everything that happened up until the point that the database or instance failed. To summarize our collection and storing methods, performance analysis gives you a lightweight method to obtain near trace level information, the memory scraping, without having to log into the database itself, without having to look at the sessions tables, without ever storing any information on the monitored host, ensuring no lost forensic data. Never again will you be at the mercy of your database to be able to report what is going on inside. At the end of the day, what performance analysis gives me is the ability to do historical forensic analysis, to find out what was the issue, to identify the user, to see what that user or application or load balancer has done over time, do comparisons, be able to pump out reports to the people that are reporting issues to either prove or disprove that this database was at fault, and more importantly, get on to fixing the problem and moving on to the next issue.